Hey, what's going on, everybody?
I understand you're named after a famous knight.
Everyone always brings up the name.
I've not heard of Sir Aveline. Is she very famous?
Wow, that little bit of dialogue says so much about Fenris. You know, up to this point, he's really not had a life. All he's really known is being some Tevinter mage's pet. And so, you know, he was there to essentially either impress that mage's friends or intimidate his enemies type of thing, right? But Fenris himself, he's never had any real upbringing or family to speak of. No training, no formal education. I don't even think he can read, right? And so, you know, he really hasn't had any life experience. And then, of course, escaping from slavery, and he's had these hounds trailing him ever since, either trying to kill him or recapture him, not necessarily in that order. And about the only real lesson he's learned from anybody is that any help comes at a price. You know, people are all about my time's money and you're going to pay me back double and I'm going to get mine, you know, and all that. And that's all he's really experienced with people in general as he's running for his life and stuff. And, you know, to his credit, and this kind of shames me when I think about it, is that before I could, you know, kind of take or leave Fenris, you know, never really gave it much thought. And you know, it's not that he's necessarily more important than any of the rest of the party members as far as that goes, but giving him some consideration, and my eyes really opened when he was talking to Aveline right there, is that rather than, to his credit, rather than to embrace what he's experienced with the world at large outside of his captivity, he's chosen to fight against it, and that shows a lot of fortitude in his character, if you think about it. Rather than be all poor me and look at what I've suffered and somebody's going to pay for that and blah, blah, blah. He knows who's responsible. It's the mages and the Tevinter slavers. And, you know, those are the ones who, you know, he has a problem with. But he's straight up with everyone else. Notice when we first helped him, and, you know, that was kind of on the fly. It kind of fell into his lap and he fell into ours. But after we helped him, he gave us the last of his coin as his duty, his obligation, right? It was his debt, and he paid it. He's a man of his word, and he's responsible for you know, his obligations and stuff. And you know, that's something you don't get from a lot of people. You know, somebody can skate by with a free ride, they will. You know, oh, look how poor I am. Can't you just understand and, you know, let me have this one on the house? And you know, he's not about that. He's got self-respect and stuff. He's by no means unintelligent. He's just unlearned. And like I say, his experiences have been very limited, and what few he's had have been very negative by most people's standards. And to be fair, at least putting myself in his shoes, I would probably be really bitter, and I would probably be one of those that would be like the street urchin who's been on the streets all of his life and knows that when a stranger puts out his hand, it's not to feed you, it's to hit you, type of thing. I would be skittish like that, and he doesn't have that, you know. He just has, you know, a lack of education and experience, you know, in the world, if nothing else. And he'll even tell you in dialogue, he just wants an opportunity to put down roots of his own and start a life, you know, with what time he's got left, not being so bitter about the time he's lost up to this point, but what time do you have left and what can you do with it? And that's what he's about. And I respect the crap out of that. I'm like admiring that, because that's a quality that in the exact same boat, I probably wouldn't have myself. And so, if I want to be honest with myself, I would have to respect that. That, you know, that's just me talking. But I really learned to appreciate that. And that little bit of dialogue there with Aveline really said quite a bit. Hold on, I just heard a voice here. This is probably an ambush, right?
No further, human. Talvishoth control these passages.
Ambushes are usually quieter, Kunari.
I did not intend to ambush. I expected to warn a caravan, but you are not helpless. The path ahead is littered with my kind. If you are as skilled as you look, it would please me if you killed them.
And I should trust you.
I have no history of betraying your people, only my own. I did not like my role, so I left the queue. I do not wish to be a murdering thief, so I left these Talvishoth to warn their victims. You are no victim, so now I will leave.
If they have offended you so much, help me go after them.
But I am worse. They don't want to raise their swords for coin, so they murder and steal. They cling to the honor they held under the Qun. My sword means nothing. I will sell it and myself as mercenary. Kunare would say I am worse.
If your blade is on the market, I'll pay.
No.
You sure you know what mercenary means?
Taking payment to face Tal Vishoth only proves that I've sold the last of myself. I know what I am. I don't need to belabor it. You have my word of caution, human. Heed it or do not.
As long as I live, I will not understand the Canary.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you're not going to understand as long as you live. But, anyway, with that little bit of dialogue with Aveline, what Fenris shows is that, he's curious. You know, he wants to know. He's almost like a little kid. I don't know about this lore, but he asks it very respectfully. Because he legitimately wants to learn. You know, he doesn't know these things, and so, well, you know, got to start somewhere, right? No point in, you know, crying over spilled milk. Might as well take the time you've got left and, you know, explore the world a little bit. And I think that's cool. And he even goes so far as to say, you know, what you're doing is right, so I'll help you. And when it comes time to deal with these slavers, you can help me. I don't expect it, but I won't turn down your help if you offer it, you know? And he's never had a friend. I mean, what the hell? You know, that's some hardcore shit right there. He's never had a friend, but he would like that you would be willing to be his friend, but he's not going to expect it. He hasn't learned that, but he'll still welcome it. In other words, he's not so callous as to turn that away. You know, it's like, no one's been my friend up to now. Fine, I'm just better off without it. Poor me, I'm going to show the world just how obstinate I can be, and he's just not doing that. And he honestly shows some qualities that I just, you know, I couldn't compare to myself. I really couldn't. That I wouldn't show in the exact same if I was in his shoes. You know, anyway, so just some thoughts, but thought that was pretty cool. It's just the little bits of dialogue, just kind of, you know, because like the, you know, the story of the, you know, the Knight Aveline and whatever. This would be common lore. This would be something passed down from, you know, mother to child, and it really brings to mind the fact that that's something Fenris never had. I doubt he had a mom tucking him in at night to tell him bedtime stories and all that kind of stuff, or, you know, a teacher to share, you know, history with him and stuff. He's missed all that. Something that most people would take for granted, and it's real easy to judge somebody who doesn't have that. But when you factor in all that they don't have and what they've lost, and you see their fortitude of character after the fact, what they still have left, and who they're willing to be, even despite all the challenges and all the and the ways they've been deprived. That's respectable in my opinion. Anyway, now these Tal Vishoth, all right. Not that I understand the Qun any better than probably anybody else, because, you know, even characters in the game will tell you, yeah, I just don't understand it. I don't get it. Because their logic, their values, their morals seem to make a certain kind of sense, but then some of them seem like really backwards too. And it's just, there's a certain kind of logic that they operate on, and it essentially governs their religion, politics, morals, philosophy. It's kind of everything all wrapped up into one nutshell, and it's defined, right? And it's got hard boundaries, which you don't go outside of. And essentially, I think their whole thing is, at least the best that I understand it, is that in the Qun is supposed to be because the Qun is, right? And anything that's not of the Qun is not. So if you leave the Qun, you never were in the first place. It's not that you stopped being, it's you never even were, right? And so you're just not acknowledged. Kind of similar to... you know, if you go to the surface, if you're a dwarf, right, you kind of cease to be reckoned among the ancestors type of thing. You kind of erase yourself from the history books type of deal. But with the Qun, I mean, their whole philosophy type of thing is either you're of the Qun or you're not. And that the Qun will be that it's an unstoppable force because it is what is. That's their whole thing. And so if you're not, you will be. Or you will be eradicated. You'll either convert and become part of it, which shows that you always were, right? Or you'll be eradicated and shows that you never were, type of thing. And it's just kind of like simple. It's strange, you know. It's logic that, of course, we don't necessarily go by, but it is what it is. That's, you know, kind of how I understand it. I don't know. Like I say, I probably don't have any better understanding than anyone else, but kind of cool. But these Tal Vishoth, they're kind of like double damned, because one. All right, if they choose, right, to be anything other than they can be, then as far as the Qun is concerned, they're just not at all. Because you are what you are or you're not. It's not you are what you are or you're something else. It's either you are or you aren't. And so the only choice you have is essentially to exist. And so you either do what you do to the best of your ability, or at least do what you do, or die trying, or just kill yourself. Because you never were in the first place. In other words, you don't just choose, something different. Your whole identity, your whole existence is based on the role you play in the Qun. And not just your job, but it's what you are. Who you are is the person that chooses to do that or not. If you choose not to do that, you might as well die. It's just that simple, right? And so these Tal Vashoth who choose to be something else, as far as the Qunari are concerned, they're no longer Qunari, but it's not like they're something else. They're just not, period, right? The Tal Vashoth just aren't. They're not even acknowledged. They're not, their existence is essentially a figment of the imagination. It's outside of the Qun. It's outside of the ordained way of things. What would you say? The direction of everything in the universe, or whatever, And so these Tal Vashoth want to choose to not be of the Qun. So as far as, the Qunari are concerned, well, they just aren't. So they burnt that bridge, right? But then when they come out here, you find that people aren't going to be understanding about that, okay? Just because you're not of the Qun anymore doesn't mean you're not a Qunari as far as the people are concerned, right? In your own mind, you may have some viewpoint on that, but as far as the guy upon whose shores you arrive is concerned, his own personal safety and the safety of his family is all he's going to worry about. Okay, I've come and I'm Tal Vashoth. I'm not part of the Qun here, so I'm not going to convert you. And all that guy's thinking is, the last time a bunch of giants with horns showed up on my shores, cannons were blazing, everybody blew up, and they tried to kill everybody, talking about how everyone was either going to be part of the Qun or die. That's all they know, right? And to expect the rest of the world at large to accept them or see them as anything different is not reasonable. It's not rational. People are not going to. They may give you lip service. They may say, oh yeah, the Qunari are just like anyone else. They have rights too. Bottom line is, when they come to your doorstep, though, you're going to lock the door, okay? If the baker down the street hires a Qunari to work the counter to sell you your bagels and cake in the morning, people are going to stop going to that bakery. They're going to be scared of that, because they're going to assume, well, that Qunari's probably poisoning me. And if they're not assuming that, somebody's going to start that rumor. And bottom line is it's just the way it is. And so it's really, like I say, a double damn for these guys, because should they, quote unquote, choose to leave the Qun and go do their own thing, there's no choices for them. There's nothing for them to do. The world that they've alienated is alienated to them, is not going to welcome them with open arms. It's one huge problem I secretly had with Inquisition, was playing a Qunari, which was kind of cool for giggles, because I remember in Origins, Sten was saying that a woman could not choose to be a warrior, so I played a two-handed warrior specifically for that reason, right? Not a rogue, but specifically the very thing that Sten said a Qunari woman could never, she just couldn't be. It's not that she couldn't choose to be, she just couldn't be that, period. If she chose to be that, then she never actually was. Not only was she not of the Qun, but she was never even born. She doesn't exist. She's outside of the Qun, therefore she's not part of the real world, in the Qunari eyes. And so, that's exactly what I played for, just that purpose. Not only am I real, but I'm going to do this shit, right? I'm going to do it with some authority, And I thought that was pretty funny. But what I didn't find in the game, playing a Qunari, was the type of opposition that should have been there if you wanted to emulate anything like something realistic. Like how would the real world treat a Qunari that was trying to lead them, right? First thing out of people's mouths is, honestly, even if they don't say it openly because civil rights demand that they're not allowed to say this, bottom line is what people are going to be thinking. The truth of the matter is what people are going to be thinking is, the last time the Qunari was here, the only thing they wanted to lead us to was the Qunari homeland and the Qun. They didn't want to lead us to any promised land. They weren't fighting against the enemy for us, they'd be fighting against the enemy for themselves and take us right along with them. If we don't want to go, then we all die. That's all people know of the Qunari. If that's all your experience with the people is, then that's what you're going to expect from them. If you do anything different, I'll tell you what. You show me a man who sees the Qunari show up on his shores and welcomes them with open arms on the off chance that they might be okay, that they might be cool, that they might be coming in peace, like, Mork from Mork and Mindy, Nanu Nanu, I come in peace, okay? Then that man's a fool. Because if you're going to risk your family, your own person, and all your property on the off chance that somebody might be okay, that just makes you a tool, and you are definitely a mark for anybody wanting to do you wrong. Sorry, the way it is. It's how people are. Well, I don't like that. Doesn't make it less true. So for the Qunari to get discriminated, they earned that in general. And if there are exceptions, then society at large, whether it be in Thetis, whether it be in Tevinter, whether it be the Free Marches, wherever it may be, all right, society at large is not obligated to welcome you with open arms at the risk of the safety of their person and their family and their property, okay, and their society and their nation and their liberty as a whole. They're not obligated to risk that on the off chance that they might offend your feelings, right? All they know about you is that you destroy everything that you touch. That's their experience with you, right? And I think it would take more than just a friendly gesture to prove that as a misconception, right? Because Qunari still at large are there. I mean, it's been hinted at several times throughout the Dragon Age franchise that the Qunari full and well plan to take over the world and put everything in the rightful order of the Qun. All right, that's their thing, right? That's what they're going to do as a whole. If there's exceptions, if there's some Talvashot that say, well, I'm not part of that anymore. Well, I don't know what you're part of. You may not be part of that. So in other words, they don't acknowledge you either, but you're not really welcome here either. And whether that's fair or not, that's just too bad, because I'm going to think about myself and my family, all right, and my country and my freedom and my liberty as a whole, and all that Qun shit, you can keep that to yourself. In other words, my only obligation in society is to draw that line into the sand and say, as soon as you cross that, you're trespassing and I'm going to shoot you in the face. Don't cross that and we're cool. You stay over there with your bullshit, right? And I'll be over here. As soon as you cross that line, I'm letting you know ahead of time. Don't do that. If you do that, this will happen. If you do that anyway, that's not on me. That's on you. I had a right to draw that line. You didn't have a right to cross it. As soon as you did, you entered my space, right? And I'll put this in context for us today, is look at relationships. Relationships without boundaries wind up being toxic. Overly controlling from both sides, jealousy, weirdness gets involved, overly psychotic behavior, and all the you watch me, I watch you, we don't trust. There's no boundaries, right? If you have a boundary and someone crosses it, they've trespassed, right? You need to have the fortitude to cut that off. You set a condition. Say, all right, this is not acceptable. This is mine. It's not your business. If you make it your business, you're stealing. If you make it your business, you're trespassing, right? And once you've done that, then this will happen. If they do that and that doesn't happen, that person knows they have the liberty to do essentially whatever they want, and then it becomes toxic, right? That person, you lose that. Well, whether it be an individual or a relationship between two people or family dynamics or social dynamics among a country, bottom line is there has to be boundaries. There has to be laws. There has to be a definition of right and wrong. There has to be, if you cross this, this happens every time. And people will either not do that or they'll friggin' go somewhere else. If you don't like it, leave. You have that right also, Now, if you're slave and you're trapped and you have to be here, that's one thing, right? But these people choosing to leave the Qun and thinking they can go somewhere else and live a life on their own, they might not find it so easy. And you can't really blame the people where they're at for being cautious, or just being outright having animosity, right? Because you would expect that from any sane, rational, free-thinking people. Is that these people are a danger, treat them with care, right? These people should be treated as armed and dangerous because 99% of the time they are. And risking your life and your family's life on the off chance that they're not just makes you an idiot, right?
You ever miss Ferelden?
Of course. It was home. I would never have left willingly. But I'm not going to be my father and spend my life trying to live a memory.
I didn't think I'd give it a second thought once I was gone. I mean, what did Ferelden ever do for me? But I do. I think about it.
Here we'll learn the depth of Anders.
Doesn't feel right.
You mean how mages are treated?
No. I think there's not enough dog shit.
Okay, so you're just playing people along when you talk to them, and you don't even mean what you say. Telling you that. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to get into Anders on this one. We'll talk about something that's actually means something instead. Okay, now notice this crafting material here. If I don't go on essentially every side quest, I'm not going to find all these things. A lot of these are hidden in these like one-time stop and shop caves here like this, where, you know, it's specifically set aside for just this one particular event. Now, you might revisit certain caves later, but if you go to the same place in another act, whatever was there in the first act isn't going to be there anymore. Those crafting materials and stuff will disappear over time. It'll even tell you that in one of the loading screens between areas and stuff, that if you leave crafting materials there, somebody else is going to find them, you know, and over time, as the years roll by, they'll disappear. In other words, from act to act, you know, that's, if you don't get them while you can, then they're gone for good. The Black Emporium is there, so you can pick up crafting materials that you missed, but I don't know that you get experience for buying them at the Black Emporium. You do get experience when you find them, though, and that's honestly as important as the materials themselves, as far as I'm concerned. Because there's a lot of things I probably won't be making. Although I think the one item you can make, it's a potion that gives you essentially a skill point. You can only make one, but it requires having like one of every single ingredient or something, or having the one last ingredient that you only find once you found all the rest, or something. Basically, it requires you to find them all. Bottom line, like it's cool the Black Emporium's there for that, but if you don't get XP for it, then that's something I certainly don't want to miss out on either. So I will be trying to find all of them. Okay, I'm glad this mage stayed up here. He wasn't casting his AoE spells down there while we were fighting the mobs. Glad we kind of stayed up front for that. But now it's 4-on-1, and yeah, he's in trouble. Okay, this disappearing act. Take that. Alright, check every corner. May find another crafting material here. Never know. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. So essentially just deciding not to do certain things will definitely deprive you of certain collectibles and stuff. And a lot of XP, actually. I think it's, what, 200 or 300, 250, something like that each time you collect one of those materials. I think the first time you find it, it's 2 or 3, it's like 250 or 300, and then everyone after that. Like, there'll be, I think, like, somewhere between, 3 and 5 deep mushrooms to find during the game, one point or another. But, the first one is worth so much, and then I think everyone after that is worth a little less, but still, you get points each time, so that's cool. Alright, and this is kind of the reason I brought along Fenris, although we're also dealing with Fenrir, and if you choose to be favorable to Fenrir, I think you can earn some rivalry with Fenris also, but you can recoup those points later.
Take one more step, and the boy dies.
This is as close as I get.
I think you only get to do that if you're playing a rogue. Badass. I get to kill animation on my own, punk ass. Friggin' slaver. I have no problem killing these guys. Nice little mob here. I'm expecting reinforcements anytime. I need to get these archers out of the way is what I need to do. Yeah, let's just get these guys out because they're sniping the crap out of my party. If you can get them to defending themselves melee, that means they can't shoot anyone else. And damn, there's more archers, really? Suck on that. Although I can't really take the heat too much myself either, but still. Oh, we got another teleporting mage again. Because he's doing the spell thing. God damn. I really should upgrade friggin' Twin Fangs. I'm gonna make sure I do that. Try to do that before we get to the deep roads. There's gonna be some trash points to spend too. I need to start working on unlocking some other stuff too.
You would have let him kill me. He had a sword at my throat, and you just... I mean, thank you, but what if you were wrong?
I'm never wrong.
Huh. That must be convenient. Who are you? Are you working for the Templars?
Your mother sent me.
Huh. Hardly a difference. I can't believe her. My whole life it was all, I'll love you and protect you. Then I have some bad dreams and it's off to the Templars.
I'm here to help you, Fainrail.
Why? You don't even know me.
I've spent my whole life protecting my sister from exactly what you fear.
Is there any chance you'd help me reach the Dalish? That's where I was trying to go. See if they'd take me in. I'm as much Dalish as human.
You don't whittle down those ears. They're apt to shoot you on sight.
I'd rather be killed by the Dalish than turned tranquil by Templars. Look, I know it's different in other kingdoms, but here, no one helps circle mages. Anything the Templars don't like, you get the brand. The Dalish, they've had magic forever. They could teach me. I won't be a danger, I swear.
Keeper trains him, keeps him safe from demons. No one gets locked up. Sounds like a winning plan.
Because no Dalish mage ever went astray.
Was your mother right? Are you plagued by demons already?
I can't say for sure. I have dreams. There are voices in the dreams. They ask me to come, to give shape to the void around them. But the Dalish Keeper is wise. If anyone can help, she can.
I know the Keeper. I'll make sure she takes you in.
Then she does not hate humans. Oh, you don't know what a relief that is. I knew she could help me. Thank the creators, you were the one my mother hired to find me. I will forever be in your debt, friend.
Alright, logic here.
Who's going to tell Mother Dearest? She must be just dying to hear what happened.
Sure, all you want to do is just see, too. Friggin' weirdo. Logic here is that I would send Fenrir to the Circle in a heartbeat for the training, because he's all like, oh, I'll love you and protect you until you get some bad dreams. Yeah, well, as soon as the demons get you, you're gone for sure, you ungrateful little bitch. Okay, that's the fact of it. Right? But the Circle here is going to do him more harm than good, because this isn't the Circle. The Kirkwall Circle isn't the Circle. Kirkwall Circle is what they've made of it. It's not the Circle. As far as all the things that define what the Circle is supposed to be, none of that applies to this, right? Now, what's going on in the Circle, what Anders refuses to acknowledge, is that the mages are causing it. Think, oh, it's Meredith. No, it's not. Meredith is unstable, right? And she's certainly a tool, but the mages are causing it. We already learned that in a previous episode. Oh, surprise, surprise. To all the mage sympathizers who don't want to look at that one little simple fact, right? True enough. But, regardless, it's going to do Fenrir a lot more harm sending him there than anywhere else. In other words, we could kill him right here on the spot or help him out, one or the other. All right, and I'm certainly not going to do that here. He's not possessed yet. Actually, the one who raised Meryl, right, to defend herself, I would trust her with Fenrir's care more so than the Kirkwall Circle. I can just imagine what the Templars would do here with a part elven mage. I mean, he's going to be disrespected just for being a, as they say, robe in the first place, you know, a mage. And then to be part elven too would just give them more cause to abuse him. You know, because they're thugs, they're criminals, they're petty punks there in the Circle here. Now I totally get that, right? The Templars aren't any more Templars than the Kirkwall Circle is a circle. Okay, I understand, but anyway. So what we'll do is we'll send them off to Marithari and see if she can't do something. Just leaving him on his own, though, is sure enough a death sentence. Even more so than sending him to the Kirkwall Circle, you know? Orsino going to turn him into a blood mage for sure. So, you know, I mean, But you know, sometimes there is no right answer. Sometimes it's a lose-lose. Sometimes in life, that's just the way it is. To take the lesser of two evils, sometimes the two evils are equal. Sometimes. Anyway, I noticed I backtracked here and got this little extra spawn here. This is missable XP. This could, you know, be the difference between gaining an extra level, you know, here and there. Honestly, so... actually, I was looking for a spot like this in the Talbashoth cave. I couldn't really remember. And then I was like, oh yeah, after you rescue Fenrir, instead of just making a beeline for the closest exit, backtrack a little bit. And there's a bonus to be had, so that's cool. Alright, so that's 2 down. The last thing is to go get the Viscount's son, and this ought to be interesting.
They aren't what you saw in Tevinter.
The moment they...
They're slaves. You should want to help them.
I don't.
And the world's rid of one more Canary. Easier than I expected. Call the men back. We've got an appointment with the Viscount. Isn't that right, Seamus?
Ashad, you killed him. You Vashedan bitch.
That one of their words? See, that's why you need to be dragged home. You're playing too nice with those things. I'll wager you've gone even further than that. Haven't you, brat? A little rough for a rescue, don't you think? Competition? Well, you're too late. The Winters, I, have already claimed him.
Sirrah, if I must go back, so be it. But I will not see these murderers rewarded.
Spoiled shit! I'll cut out your tongue and charge extra for bringing you back quiet. And as for you, I could do with some entertainment while we wait for the others.
Let's see how entertaining this is then, bitch. Actually, she's a pretty effective rogue, if I remember right. Okay. The key for me has always just been staying towards the back here, letting them kind of come to us so we don't get them all spawning on top of us at once. You run all up there, up the trail there in the middle, they'll literally spawn on either side, and it's not pretty. Got her? Got her. Okay, she's down. I think we're good. So let old Muttface get in on her a little bit.
Dead and good riddance, but she said she was waiting for more. A lot more.
Well, that's not good news.
Then we ready ourselves.
Strip the camp, and we'll ready a fitting welcome.
Yep. I think this is the hardest one, in my opinion. And like I say, after each cutscene, it kind of sets you towards the middle. Like moving everybody back here. Sometimes dog can go keep them kind of busy up there for a second, too. That helps out a little bit. Their commander, if this is the one I'm thinking of, he throws these, what'd you call them? Stun grenades at you, I guess. For lack of a better word. Yeah, see, and he heals. Yeah, they get like super panacea. I don't know what makes the commander a friggin' mage like that. I don't even think rally or any of the buffs that the warriors can provide can do that. Not that effectively. Okay, you need to get all these archers out. Screw that, dude. Problem is, you gotta kill them twice, essentially, because they have double health bars. That dude's regenerating their health so fast. Lay down, dude. I got this dude by himself. It still doesn't have him by himself. Wow. It's crazy. And more archers. See, this is... It's kind of ridiculous. But I don't know where that Canary just came from. Anyone see that? Canary just kind of... I think that was the dead Canary there that got hit so hard he got raised from dead for a second. I don't know how it is on lower difficulties, but you notice how many times this dude gets to heal? You think you finally got him down with his 1 million armor rating, and then he gets to slug down potions like you do. In fact, more than you do. Actually, I think he can slug them down even faster.
Oh, Andraste. I've never seen so many corpses. So much blood.
Don't worry, there's gonna be more.
Soil yourself later. There may be more.
Okay, actually, I don't think this wave right here is near as bad. That one, that stupid commander, he keeps everybody alive. It's just crazy. But yeah, we'll let him come to us real quick. Okay, well apparently they've got another commander. See how slow he's walking? That's funny. Might as well loot the place a little bit. Get a breather. There's gonna be just a friggin' mob up here. I already know it. Meanwhile, I'll just collect all this change. Right, where's their commander at? Right, just keeping them alive, and we're getting the slow stun. Yeah, stun grenade, see? I don't remember there being one on this wave, but it is what it is. I'm just going to take out all the ads. Screw this. Maybe if they don't get close enough, they won't get the super health... Oh, we get an assassin. Well, that's not going to end well. We need to get him down first. And if he gets health regen, we're screwed. Haha. Freaking commander's annoying. The archers. You know, we better get paid a lot for this, because if rescuing the Viscount's son covered the expenses of this many mercenaries, he must be worth a lot. In other words, if they brought this much backup to capture one person... Actually, I think there's kind of a little sub-story here, is that these Winters groups have some interests in Kirkwall, and these guys weren't just here to help recapture the Viscount's son, but they were going to take up place in Kirkwall as a new criminal family of sorts. And we just ruined a lot of their plans right there, I think.
Never coddled. You were worth his time, or you are not. They are not the brutes others claim they are. Take me to my father, and I will try again to make him see.
It's clear this was not your first encounter with this Ashard.
I met him soon after their ship foundered. I had run again to escape the keep and my father. Ashard was to map the coast, to find an answer for the Arishok. I had so many doubts. Kunari have none.
I wasn't aware that Kunari take many friends.
Perhaps it isn't the right word. I am the Viscount's son, bound by everything that means. Ashard did not care. We were both seeking something. That was enough.
I confess I'm not sure what one does with a dead Kunari.
The body is no longer him, and is worthy of no special treatment. That is, apparently, their way.
Should his people be told?
They will know. Whether they will deign to acknowledge it, I have no idea. There was much of Ashard that I didn't understand, but it was so very worth trying.
The Viscount is clearly concerned about your safety.
The Viscount sends thugs to do a father's job. I was in no danger until his help arrived.
You could have told him this was your wish.
Keep your assumptions. He doesn't hear me. He's as tired of being disappointed as I am of bearing it. And now, Ashard is dead. It's not right.
We'll leave soon enough, Seamus. Be ready.
I am at your whim, Sirrah.
Yeah, the open bounty was not wise. Viscount's an actual idiot for that. The open bounty. You don't find someone trusted to bring your boy back, then your boy is just another political liability, I guess. If I was his boy, that's the message I would get. I'm not lying. So, you know, yeah, I get that. Very unwise. On a family and a political level, just all the way around. Viscount really is a tool. I mean, they said that earlier in the game, too, and he really is kind of an idiot. Empty head with a crown sitting on it.
I am ready to leave. And you have coin to collect, I'm sure.
Let's go, Seamus. Your father will be waiting in the keep.
Then take me to him. Father.
My son. I thought I'd lost you.
Enough, Father.
Allow me to present one Sirrah Hawk, Your Excellency. She fulfilled the bounty.
You have my gratitude. I hope you encountered no great difficulties on my son's behalf.
No problems to speak of, aside from the crowd that tried to kill us.
I was told the Winters had involved themselves. Was there no way to avoid an incident?
Yeah, don't hire a criminal cartel to save your son, stupid ass.
For that.
It was my understanding you were captured alone. Foolishly traipsing about the coast as you do.
I was not captured. I was with Ashard. The Kunari. They are not monsters to be feared. If you would just try to understand, others would see as well.
Better that you were thought abducted than to have their influence suspected in my own family. Benign or not, it's too much.
A little too much insight into the office for me.
Your actions are appreciated. The Seneschal will see you out.
I was worth 5 gold. That's kind of cool. A few brownie points with Aveline. It's even better.
I can't do that.
Yeah, even though the Viscount may be an empty head and not know exactly why, he's superstitiously paranoid about any influence. Oh, wow, I can't believe I missed this. Any influence from the Kunari. Actually, it's the right thing, because, yeah, they are kind of monsters to be feared. At least the Kunari presence is a threat. That mapping of the coast, probably for a good way in for the Kunari later in an invasion, but also probably see where the ship that they were fighting on their way into Kirkwall landed. See if there's any trace of what they're looking for, his answer. That's my guess. What, you know, Seamus would be the exact kind of overly compassionate, understanding fool that would be a conduit for the Qun to kind of weasel in and, you know, it's the cult mentality. You know, that's where cults start. Is you get a thought like this and, oh, you know, make someone feel guilty for not understanding. And so when they try to start understanding, they open their mind to things that don't mean well. Let's put it that way. All right. I really want this. I want ambush. Every attack out of stealth is automatic critical. It's great for Twin Fangs. I spend time in stealth a lot, especially when I can turn stealth into obscurity. And then when you're obscure, you can get it to where your attacks are criticals also. So it's more than just your first attack. It's a few. Anyway, that's a junk point. It's something I'm actually never going to use, but you have to have 2 points to upgrade stealth. I'd also like to be able to move around faster while I'm in stealth and get across the battlefield. It's more of a gameplay mechanic type thing with me. That's how I'm comfortable playing. So actually that point is completely useless in and of itself, but it enables me to upgrade stealth and also get ambush. And notice I said sometimes to get what you want, you have to spend a point in something you don't want. Look at this. Aveline is now immune to critical hits. Those backstabs? She's going to brush them off like they're nothing. Get off me, fly. Brushing the flies off her shoulder when those assassins go to backstab her now. That's awesome. Start unlocking some more passes for Aveline now. We'll eventually get her battle synergy also, so she'll really start benefiting the whole party. But we'll be working on her tankiness now. Pretty much unlocked a bunch of the other stuff. Actually, you know, all three of these need upgrades. Haste, Glyph of Paralysis, and Heal. Well, it's kind of a choice between Heal and Haste. Haste lasts longer, so we can fight twice as hard, twice as long. And Heal heals you much more instead of like a little tiny amount. Now it essentially fully heals you. If you're at 25%, it'll heal you all the way. So I think we'll go with that. All right. See if there's anything that's usable and go ahead and sell the rest. That sounds good to me. Start kind of weeding out stuff we're not going to need. Start getting ready to go on our grand expedition to the deep roads. Working our way towards that. I guess because each one of these episodes has just been a little longer or something, but it seems like we've gotten here kind of fast. It's kind of cool. We haven't missed much. I'm going to try and make sure I clear up everything, squeeze all the XP that we can out of this act. So I've left a little bit on the table as it is, so we'll make sure I get whatever I can. At least all the questing I can get out of the way. All right, gonna stop at the merchant. Go do some other stuff, but I'll be on the next one. All right, for now, thanks for watching. Appreciate you listening to me babble. It's great. All right, cleaned up the Wounded Coast. All right, we'll head on and do some other stuff around town later. If you want to subscribe, click that button up top. Until then, y'all take care. All right, catch you later. Bye-bye.